We're at Manella's Exotics and we're gonna show you guys the rarest tortoises in the world. So this here is a Galapagos tortoise, and these are the largest tortoises in the world. And what he's doing right now is called finching. He will basically posture up, let me scratch his belly and his legs, because in the wild, what these tortoises do to get the ticks off of them is let birds come onto them and just pick off all the ticks from them. So they get into like this trance, they love it, they love these scratches. And I have even heard of them being very, very smart. They'll let a bird go underneath them and then they drop, kill the bird and eat the carcass. Very smart tortoises, and definitely one of the most beautiful animals in the world.
Back compared to where the females seem to be more just like flat domed like that.
Yeah.
So it's my theory at least that this is one of the breeding males.
This would be a male.
And then that one might be a breeding male.
Yeah. All right, so we're here with Frank, and these are one of my favorite tortoises in the world. These are radiated tortoises. Dude, how long have you had these guys? And just tell me if you, obviously you haven't produced any yet, but what's the group looking like here?
So right here, I've been raising these guys up for the past 4 to 5 years. I have a group of 6 in this enclosure right now, but these 4 happen to be the largest ones. So our goal is to be able to reproduce these tortoises. Having said that, radiateds are not sexually dimorphic such as other species of tortoises. Figuring out which ones are males and which ones are females, not really possible. So we've just basically been patiently waiting to see if we see any breeding activity. The past 2 seasons, we've seen a lot of courting activity. Hopefully this will be the year where we're able to successfully reproduce these guys.
And these guys are fully grown at this size, right? They don't get much bigger than this.
So technically you can consider them fully grown adults, but as you know, reptiles never stop growing.
Right.
So you can expect this guy, if he's a male, he might get another 2 to 3 inches bigger, but that could be, you know, another 5 or 10 years possibly.
Right. They're beautiful, man.
Oh yeah, perfect bowling balls.
Yeah.
This is how they should look in the wild, especially in the South Florida sun. That perfect humidity and temperatures.
Does this area get any flooding at all when we get hurricanes or it gets really heavy rains?
So what I did in this enclosure is because they can be prone to getting skin infections and some fungal infections, is I brought in a whole truckload of sand for this enclosure and I raised it up about 4 to 6 inches.
Oh, okay, there you go.
In the summer months when this enclosure does rain a whole bunch, they have options to go to high grounds or the low grounds if they want to actually sit in the water. And they do a little bit of both, honestly.
Guys, I'm here with one of the rarest redfoots in the entire world. This is an albino cherryhead redfoot tortoise. I have seen other albino redfoots. So what is the cherryhead? Why is that different from the regular?
As far as redfoots go, this is locale specific. So this locality comes from Brazil. Generally, this subspecies tends to be on the smaller side, whereas a normal redfoot might become, 12 to 14 inches. As you can see, the male probably isn't even 10 inches skewed to, I tied up.
This is tortoise talk.
Yeah. So generally normal redfoots would be about 12 to 14 inches. The Brazilian cherryhead redfoots generally max out at about 10 inches. So they're a smaller subspecies. Albino, on the other hand, is a little bit bigger because she is an older animal.
So you were saying this is probably the only reproductive albino cherryheads in the United States right now.
Correct.
Right?
So,
and she actually made some babies, right?
Oh yeah, she made some babies this year. Basically, these 2 animals came from the same farm in South America. So I was able to acquire these 2 tortoises, and this year, the male, after the long shot, he basically reproduced himself as a 100% het albino, and we were able to produce visual albinos from him this year.
So what is your goal with these albino cherryheads? Like, what do you want to do in the future? What do you want to try to make with these guys?
So at first, really, I just want to be able to produce a few more albinos and be able to get them into the hands of other captive breeders such as myself. Down the line, it would be awesome to get them to the other mutation, which is the hypo mutation. So a visual hypo albino is possible in the next 5 to 10 years. But with tortoises, it's a very long and slow project. Once you get to the end result, it is well worth it.
Yeah, 100% agree, man. And and it is a long process with tortoises. They do grow slow. You actually work with some hypos as well, right?
Correct.
So are any of them close to breeding size so you can start crossing these together, or it's gonna take a couple years?
So I do have several adult hypos, but at this point in time, I don't want to crossbreed her with anyone else, as I want to make sure I can produce more albinos for at least the first few years. In a few years down the line, you know, I may put her to a male hypo, try to make some 100% double hets, but at this time, making more albino cherry heads is the main goal.
All right, guys, so in my hands, I have the first USA captive bred albino cherry head tortoises. Look at these little tortoises. They are so freaking amazing. The color on this one on my left hand is insane. It is just such an amazing animal to see in person. I'd seen them in Daytona at the reptile show, but to see them here and hold them and to see the mom is just amazing.
And here I have some hypo redfoot tortoises, just to kind of show you guys the difference. So these guys do lack that melanin on their shell. That's why they are more yellowish. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool once he mixes these. It's gonna make some amazing animals, might even make that animal even more brighter.
Yeah. All right, guys, so this is a Uromastyx thomasi, and this is one of the most unique species of Uromastyx, especially because of that round tail they have. It's just, I mean, the color, these guys will actually fire up really nice and blue on the sides with that orange stripe down the back.
And these guys, just like any other Uromastyx, loves to jam themselves in tight spaces. And what these will actually do is they'll cover the opening of the hole with that shield tail, not letting any predators get in and pull them out.
So Frank works here with a bunch of different species of Uromastyx, and when we see an ornate Uromastyx, we have to show it off. This is my favorite species. The bright blues, greens, yellows, just the combination of colors on these animals are unlike anything else. Look at that.
I'm here with the largest Uromastyx in the entire world. This is the Egyptian Uromastyx. Look at this guy. He's the size of my arm. This guy's only about 2 feet right now, but they can get up to 30 inches. So he's still got some growing to do.
And these guys are captive bred Egyptian Uromastyx. Eventually, these guys will turn into those monsters we saw.